welcome to episode 24 of the Tailgate Update podcast on the Forkball YouTube channel. Back at you once again with a different guest, Miss Tyla Wright. Tyla, why don't you tell our fans a little bit about yourself?
So I am a college junior at Dakota Wesleyan University. I just wrapped up my 8-year cheerleading career. I cover BYU football for the Forkball.
Let us know where we can find you on social media, Tyla. Right for the Forkball.
On Twitter, you can find me at Tyla Wright 4. And then on Instagram, you can find me at Tyla Ann Wright, and Facebook, you can find me at Tyla Ann Wright as well.
All right. Yeah, so we have a BYU expert in the house today. So thank you for coming, Tyla. We really appreciate it.
All right, let's get to it here. NFL starting us off with beer one. Pop that six-pack open. Right, Ben Johnson is cutting ties with job offers around the league to stay in Detroit. Is that a smart decision? What do you think, Tyler?
Yes, so I live out here in the Midwest, who are surrounded by Lions fans, and they absolutely love Ben Johnson and would love to see him stick around and continue to help this team. So, great idea.
Yeah, and by the time, the options weren't great anyway. He could join. So, it made a lot of sense. I don't even think the Seahawks were even, communicating with Ben, were they? But, either way, it made sense that, the kind of coach. So, well, their new one does, but still, I think it makes sense to have made that move instead of what was available. And
yeah,
wanted him out of who was available.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good move. They started something pretty good over there with Goff and Gibbs and Montgomery. Why not stay and try to build on what you did this year? Let's see. The next piece of news we have: Seahawks hire Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald as their new head coach. Julie, let's start with you on this one.
Yeah.
Like or dislike?
I don't adapt well to change. And I don't think that we needed to get rid of Pete Carroll. And I'm bitter about this, but that has nothing to do with this guy because he has no factor in the decisions that the Seahawks make. He seems like he's going to be the youngest, so we went from having the oldest coach in the NFL to having the youngest one. He seems like a nice guy who's trying to come in and really relate to the unique culture that's in Seattle. And so I don't have any issues with him as a person. Any issues I have is with Seattle as a team, but that's not unusual for me either. I've had problems with him for a while now. So, he did good things in Baltimore. I didn't really follow the Ravens defense that much this year, but, obviously they were strong, so it'll be, maybe he'll bring us back another Legion of Boom. I don't know, but he seems like a nice guy who's gonna try his best, and so I'm fine.
So there's some hope there. Okay, I like that.
Yes, I have no reason not to. We don't even know about him yet as a head coach.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do but hope and pray he does the job well. So
yeah.
Tyler, what do you think?
We see a lot of defense coordinators been hired as head coach over the years, and they've done well. So I would say I'm glad the Seahawks gave him a chance. I don't know if I would agree with this as they're firing Pete Carroll either, but that's the path they decided to take when the season ended. So,
Yeah, of all the head coaches that were hired this offseason so far, I believe a good majority of them were defensive-minded head coaches who, come from defensive backgrounds, I should say. Speaking of which, our next coach hiring, Dan Quinn, getting a second chance as a head coach in the NFL with the Commanders. What do you guys think? Yay or nay?
I'm saying no. We watched his head coaching job unfold down there at Dallas for a time, and that was ugly, and it only got uglier as the seasons went on. So I don't know what the Commanders were thinking there.
Well, for my take, he in Atlanta when he was coaching Atlanta, that spiraled out of control fairly quickly when the talent pool kind of dried up, and Julio Jones was hurt a lot, so I don't see the talent pool being very plentiful in Washington right now. So, especially with Sam Howell, chucking it around.
Yeah, I think it'll be another nightmare, but it'll be like the Falcons round 2.
He's got nowhere to look but up, I guess.
Well, we're not, but it'll be a year. It'll happen.
It's going to be a year, I guess. Speaking of coaches who are looking for their second act, Steelers are hiring Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator. You guys think he could be more beneficial to Kenny Pickett than Matt Canada was?
Yeah, I mean, everybody hated Matt Canada. I'm surprised they didn't have a riot over there. So, anybody is probably better.
Oh, my goodness. Steelers fans hated him.
Hated him.
Yeah, even non-Steelers fans hated him.
Yeah, so, honestly, step up just so that they don't have... He's just not there anymore.
Just not there anymore, yeah.
Yeah, they just can't handle him. So
that's quite a way to look at it.
And Pittsburgh is a no-go for them. So yeah.
Tyler, you want to weigh in on this?
See, I don't know. It'll be a step up definitely for Kenny Pickett. It'll be a great opportunity for him to learn from him because Arthur Smith did do some good things down there in Atlanta. Not exactly head coaching material, but offensive coaching, yes, he can do that. So
yeah,
definitely. Our next coaching move: the Rams promote their pass rush and linebacker coach to defensive coordinator, replace Raheem Morris as Chris Shula gets the job over Brandon Staley, who was familiar in LA. I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't even know who their passing coach is, so I don't care.
Chris Shula was underneath Raheem Morris for the last 3 years, at least.
Did you know that, Tyla?
No, I had no clue.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
A Rams fan would know that. Who cares?
Well, I'm reading from the article.
Okay, fine.
So he got promoted. I don't know how I feel about it because sitting underneath Raheem Morris for 3 years can't be good for anybody's coaching experience. If he plays less than 90% soft zone, it would be a win. Okay, we'll move on from that one.
Yes.
We'll move on to a Yahoo Sports quote from Mr. Jerry Jones. Jerry says he could, quote, no doubt work with Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick and Jerry Jones are actually very good friends. Now, with him saying this, is this hinting at him being the replacement for McCarthy, or now with Quinn being gone, could Jerry Jones hire Bill Belichick to be the new defensive coordinator?
I can't see him being anything but a head coach, but...
Yeah, I mean, being that we pretty much grew up with him being a head coach,
I don't know if he would be willing to be anything but,
Yeah, I can see it.
That would be a huge demotion. That would be why would you even want to do that, especially at his age?
Well, I mean, Wade Phillips had to do that at one point. He turned into a defensive coordinator. It might be his key back to getting into a head coaching position, to be honest.
I think it would make more sense for him to just throw up the towel than even do that. That's kind of depressing.
Tyler, what do you think?
I see it being a step for him one day getting McCarthy's job. Probably not this offseason, but if he could be DC for a couple of years, stick around and let the Cowboys figure out what they're going to do with McCarthy, then he could step up and be their head coach one day.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that within the next 6 months even. He might even take over during the season, to be honest. If McCarthy, flubs up during the season.
Yeah, like he might be waiting for a team who fires their coach mid-season. Look, I'm not saying he shouldn't go back to coaching. I'm saying I can't see him starting as a DC and working his way up when he's been like a head coach for like 100 years. But like I can see him like he might just take a season off. Like maybe he wants to go to the Bahamas this year, like Cliff did, and did like tourism in Thailand for a good time, and then he wants to come back and do it, but like I can't see him rushing to like. I mean, what is he going to be, a ball boy and then work out to defensive coordinator? Like this man is like 65. Like but I look. I think Jerry Jones needs to focus on the fact that he's Jerry Springer right now because he's got more lawsuits than. He should probably be focusing on that and like staying alive because he's like 90 versus like worrying about what Bill Belichick is going to be. Okay.
I see where you're coming from, Julie, but I mean, he's got two choices, sit around and wait or be defensive coordinator.
Which I think he can afford.
Well, yeah, but a year away from the game might cost you a little bit of that.
Belichick a year away from the game? Oh, please.
You never know. The game changes, if you're not in touch with it. But okay.
I can see him going on to being like an analyst or something because he's been on like not an analyst for like a show like that for like a during the game, but he's already been a guest on like NFL 100 and stuff like that. And I know he's like a football historian. I could see him doing something like that too.
Okay, so you see him as like a TV personality type person for the year?
Yeah, not. I don't know if like they're more of their like again NFL 100. They're kind of those kind of things. I don't know if they have that.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I can see him doing like specials like that because he's definitely like I can't see him like being in front of the camera week to week, but I can see him like sharing his football historian knowledge. He's incredible, and I aspire to know as much as he does one day. So maybe being on more like documentaries style kind of thing.
I'm sure Bill would be a better addition to NBC Sunday Night Football than Chris Sims is, but that's just me.
Yeah, he never smiles and he just sits there and looks at people with no sleeves and growls at the media who's not even asking him questions. Yeah, that'll go well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Tyla, I want to get your perspective on something real quick, being that you cover BYU.
Okay.
We have a man, a man among boys, being up for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He just broke rookie records that stood for years, well, except for Waddle's record.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua, 5th round pick out of BYU. The question to you is, does it surprise you that he was able to do what he did this season?
It does not surprise me. What we watched him do first at Washington and then at BYU with the quarterbacks that he played for and the coaching staff does not surprise me that he came out and had the year he had. So
yeah, I heard that his combine and pro day were kind of subpar, and that's kind of why he dropped. But were you shocked that he went past the second round in the draft?
I was not actually. BYU players, they sit around till day 3, except for Zach Wilson. The last 10 years, we've seen BYU players drop below way past day 2, even if they should have gone before then. So it does not surprise me. But no, his pro day and his combine did not do him any favors. I don't know what happened there, but definitely was a little rusty from the offseason. So
yeah,
we'll see.
He battled some injuries at BYU as well, didn't he? I know that was a question going into the rookie year, was his injury status.
Yeah, so he had a couple of severe ankle sprains that put him on the bench at BYU for a time. And yeah, those were some questions. I didn't see a problem with those. Being with the background I have as an athletic training student, those aren't something that we worry about really. they're there and they will, if the player lets it affect him, no, it'll affect him, but Puka wasn't going to let it affect the way he played ball. So,
Yeah, after the Cleveland game this year, he certainly gained a lot of respect from a lot of people, peers around the league, being that he, jammed his shoulder up and still played through it. I mean, kid's a warrior.
Yeah,
like
we saw that at BYU as well. So he'll play through injuries, and the Rams fans should be ready for that, for him to play through if they'll let him. So.
What's that, Julie? You were saying something?
Yeah, you said he was a man among boys, and I just remember watching him yesterday in the Pro Bowl. Like doing the biggest catch, like riding. He was like on a surfboard.
A wakeboard, yeah.
Yeah, a wakeboard attached to the boat, and was trying to catch the ball at the same time. And I mean, I appreciated it. It just like it's just funny when you say he's a man among boys, because it was definitely not like like yeah, like we got to see him as a young
Yeah, I feel like no matter how much he's maturing in the league as the season went on, he's definitely a kid at heart. He loves playing the game.
Yeah, so it just made me laugh when you made that comparison, but I don't have a problem with him having a fun time, and it was cool to watch. So, but it just was ironic.
No, he did some things that I did not suspect a fifth rounder to do.
David Njoku's version better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did a backward somersault off of like a dive, like a high diving board, and tried to catch the ball. Like that was incredible.
Difficulty 10.
Yes. We want to shout out our other forkball writers, of course, and this is the time when I'm going to plug my current articles. If you watched the Pro Bowl or didn't get a chance to watch it, by the time this airs, I will have done a rundown of every skills competition and the highlights, and it is good out here, so make sure you definitely want to hear my coverage of what's going on. So, all right, Ryan, hit it.
I'm sure it's great coverage too, Julie.
Amazing coverage.
I'm just glad they're not trying to flaunt the Pro Bowl as something special anymore and just giving us.
Up. I don't need to be bitching about it anymore. Oh my god, it's really fun if you just like don't take yourself too seriously and can have like a good time without being like, oh, back in the day it used to be this. So, I mean, who doesn't want to see Jason Kelce try to bend all the way over and throw a ball through his legs? Okay, because it looks like his back is about to give out any second. So, like you can't catch that anywhere else. Anyway.
Oh, no. I like that. I like the skills competition. I'm just talking about the game itself. Like it's no longer, whatever. All right, let's move on after we crush out that beer to beer 2 of the MLB. John P. Angelos sells the Baltimore Orioles to 2 private equity billionaires for $1.725 billion. Could you guys name a lot of stuff you could do with that money? Because like I can name at least 1.725 billion things I could do.
I don't even want to. That might be depressing for me. Let me focus on all the things I don't have, Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's double up on Baltimore real quick. They just traded for a former Cy Young Award winner, Corbin Burns, from the Milwaukee Brewers in exchange for prospects. I guess the O's are really trying to build on the success they had. They came out of nowhere this past season. And our last bit of baseball news. World Series MVP Corey Seager to miss most of spring training with a to repair sports hernia.
Oh.
Yeah, so the Rangers will be missing
their
star for the most of spring training. Hopefully that doesn't really throw them off.
Hernias are no joke. It's super gross. And so, like, yeah, take your time, sir. Take your time. Don't need any more of that.
Let's go to beer 3 of the NHL.
All right.
Blue Jackets forward Patrick Laine enters Players Assistance Program with undisclosed issue. Return to action unknown.
I need to know more about this assistance program because they seem to do a wide array of things that you don't always work, and I'm like, what is going on over there? That's where I need to find my scandals because I'm sure they have a ton.
Yeah. So the announcement was made via the NHL, NHLPA, and Blue Jackets organization Sunday. Indicated Laine will be out indefinitely while getting treatment. Laine was quoted. What's that?
I'm sure we'll find out why he was there. It won't take that long.
Yeah, Laine was quoted on Sunday. After careful consideration and discussion with my support network and the team, I recognize the importance of prioritizing my mental health and well-being. Hockey has been my passion in my life, but I have come to realize that in order to perform at my best, I need to take this time to focus on myself. So,
I'm sure his PR team worked really hard on crafting that.
settle down.
Right.
Settle down, settle down. Okay. Let's go on to the next part of our beer 3 here. USA Hockey mandates neck protection for 18U in games and practices. Is this a step in the right direction for the safety of hockey?
Yes. We have this discussion all the time about safety in multiple aspects of athletic trainers, and number one has to begin with equipment. And the fact that we have those out there, they should be mandated across the league. And starting with the youth leagues is the right way to go, because the youth leagues do it, and hopefully it'll trickle up into the professional leagues. And we already see some professional players wearing them anyways. So
Yeah.
They can learn the game young with the net guards because I hear that they can be kind of restrictive and everything. If they can learn it ahead of time, and enter in that way, I think that's a great way to do it for sure. And if there's some way that we can protect the youth, then we should be.
Yeah. The new policy also extends to 19-year-old players at the boys, girls, and junior levels, and for on-ice officials under the age of 18. This goes into effect August 1st. USA Hockey President Mike Tremboli was quoted as saying, "Safety is always at the forefront of our conversations."
Oh, please. Sorry. Go ahead.
Let me finish before you give your snarky remarks. Damn. Safety is always at the forefront of our conversations, and the action of our Congress today reflected that. So that was his quote. See, you could have waited like 3 more seconds before you started.
Like when my bullshit meter beeps uncontrolled, sometimes I have to let it out.
You know they have to say that type of stuff. So
I know their PR team is working hard, the same one as the other guy.
yeah, well, their executive director, Pat Kelleher, said, "I know throughout our organization, the overwhelming opinion was that the time is appropriate to modify our rules related to neck laceration protection." He also said, "We're also encouraged that the hockey industry is committed to continuing to work to improve that cut-resistant products that protect players to help influence the safest possible landscape for the game."
Yeah, there was a high school student in America. I forget exactly where, but he just died from taking this season from taking a skate to the neck too, I believe. So that might also be factoring in because this happens on all levels more often than I think we know.
Yeah. Some players in the league are wearing it. I believe Tyler said that. Some player, TJ Oshie of the Capitals, has already started wearing them. The Penguins have made it mandatory for their AHL team and ECHL team. So it's making its rounds, and it might.
And entire countries.
Yeah.
Like all of Sweden, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they can do it, I think we can figure it out.
Yeah, of course.
It's not like we're waiting around for this stuff to be created. It's out there. They just need to tell the older players to suck it up and wear it because that is life or death. You
Yeah,
don't have
like helmets. I mean, at one point there is an argument about helmets and face masks for goalies. Like, I mean, there people fight any kind of protection always since
Yeah.
I don't need no damn mask. I like my face looking like a steak.
I don't need teeth.
I don't need
too.
teeth. I don't need no damn mask on. My teeth like it. All right. Anyways, let's continue on with hockey here. More about USA hockey, somewhat. NHL going to Olympics. Another 4-nation tourney. The NHL is sending its players back to the Winter Olympics for the first time since 2014, formally committing to the next 2 men's ice hockey tournaments in an agreement with the International Olympic Committee. What do you guys think of that?
Cool.
Sound good? Sounds good, right?
Yeah. Good. Let's go back.
Yeah, let's go back. Definitely. So the announcement was a part of a larger international schedule rolled out by the NHL and the NHLPA that includes a 4-team midseason tournament. What is it with these midseason tournaments? The NBA is doing it now. The NHL is doing it. I don't understand.
I'm sure it's money.
It has to be like
Yeah.
if we're taking player safety in consideration here, that's not player safety. Throwing all of a sudden having 5 games a week is not healthy. So it's got to be money based.
Oh no!
Really, when he's yapping about player safety, I was like, how much money are you willing to lose for that? 0? Oh, okay, keep going.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, 5 games a week. What's that, anyways? I don't think the Ducks have played 3 games this week. My goodness. All right. Anyways, where was I? 4-team midseason tournament called the 4 Nations Face Off in 2025, with games played in the U.S. and Canada. Ooh, wow! All 4 nations are really getting involved. And now for the other news in NHL. The Kings have fired their coach Todd McClellan after bad January. And mind you, the team is sitting in I think the first wildcard spot in the Western Conference. However, January really took them off the wagon apparently, and the Kings said, "Nay, you're gone." They replaced him with interim coach Jim Hiller for the rest of the season, as of today.
It's always
Friday.
to fire a head coach after one bad month.
Oh yeah, it's very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart.
Yeah, because they're not in the wild card or anything. So it makes sense after one bad month that they should just kind of toss them out.
Yeah, not only are they in the wild card, they're in the first wild card spot.
Yep, makes tons of sense.
Yeah, they've gone from leading the Pacific Division and reinforcing why they're preseason Stanley Cup contenders to entering the NHL All-Star Week in the first of 2 Western Conference wildcard spots. A bad January will do that. You still have 3 months left, but
with 5 games a week.
Yeah, with 5 games a week. He becomes the 6th NHL head coach to get fired this season.
Jeez.
To go along with the Edmonton Oilers, Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues, and the New York Islanders, all having made changes as early as mid-November. Yep. So, best of luck on your future endeavors. So, all right. That's the NHL. Let's move on. Crush that beer out. Throw it in a recycling bin. Let's move on to the NBA. I know you're all thrilled about this one. The NBA to expand draft to 2 nights in New York starting this year. Is this an intriguing idea or a bad idea? Because to my knowledge, I didn't think anybody watched the NBA draft, but that's just me.
I didn't know either.
Tyla?
I'm gonna say finally, like I've watched a little bit of the NBA drafts. But they don't need to cram it to one night. NFL has it over 3 days. NHL has it over a couple days. So does the MLB. You don't need to cram it to one night for these players. It's a big moment in those players' lives. So let them enjoy it.
I can see that.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah. I mean, I can see that because there's 2 rounds in the NBA draft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's 7 in the NFL. I can see why they do it 3 days. I don't know. I don't know if they're trying to get more views or what, but
Or maybe just make it easier for the players.
that too. That too.
I'm sure there's money too.
Oh, there's gotta be money. There's always money involved.
There's
Yeah.
always money in that.
There's always money involved. What are we thinking? Speaking of money, NBA fined Lakers guard D'Angelo Russell $15K for kicking ball into crowd after 145-144 double overtime win over the Golden State Warriors. Are pro leagues too harsh on players showing emotion? Julie, start with you.
He kicked the ball into the crowd of people.
After the game was over, and in the heat of the moment, he kicked the ball in the crowd. They fined him $15K.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get hit in the head with a flying basketball. I'm an angry man, but who's like 8 feet tall. Because I imagine you could really make it cruise. But assuming that it didn't hit me in the head, like I definitely don't mind displays of emotion. Although that one sounds like it could be minorly dangerous. What if it hit a kid? I don't know.
Okay, so this question is just general over all pro sports, not just kicking the ball in the stands. You know what I mean? So penalizing somebody for taunting because they spun the ball at your head, like on the ground, and stared at you.
No, I generally think like go for it because if I was out there, I'd be like taunting. Like I'm not that big of a person, so I would definitely be going ham with that. So like I'm like go for it.
Yeah, I mean Sorry, go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
They have gone way overboard with penalizing players for celebrating, for showing their emotion. They're people too, and they're gonna have their moments. Let them have their moments.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I just don't want the ball going really fast at my head, but like.
No, it wasn't a line drive punt. Like it was just kind of kicked in the air, like a booming punt.
I'm just trying to think of like like 8 feet tall, like that could be coming kind of quick, you know?
It could.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I don't know if I love that, but like in general, like I like do not mind at all. In fact, like I enjoy every time the football gets chippy, and I think that's like one of the best parts of the game. So, like,
yeah,
it's raw sports.
The NFL in general has really gone overboard with it. How dare you do one extra pelvic thrust towards the sideline? You know, that type of stuff is ridiculous. Don't you dare point towards the sideline and say, "I got you," whatever.
I own your team or whatever.
Yeah, I own you. I own you.
Yeah, that would probably make me want to throw that person like through the goalpost if I heard somebody say that. So, you know.
You already want to throw him through the goalposts.
Yeah, but I would especially want to do it at that point if you said some shit like that. Ooh, like, look.
Simmer, settle your tea kettle.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
Come on now, Julie, settle down. Okay, this one should get your blood boiling, right? Maybe. We'll see. The NCAA is being sued by Tennessee and Virginia over NIL rules after Tennessee football investigation. Is this a black eye for the NCAA in terms of these NIL rules they've implemented? Now, let's look here.
Did we switch beers? Are we now?
Did we? Oh yeah. We switched beers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was like, okay, so we switched football. Okay.
Yeah. We switched beers. So let's get some backstory here in case you don't know. Attorneys General of Tennessee and Virginia filed an antitrust lawsuit against the NCAA on Wednesday that challenged its ban on the use of name, image, and likeness compensation in the recruitment of college athletes, and in response to the association's investigation of University of Tennessee. The lawsuit filed in the Eastern District of Tennessee seeks to undercut NCAA rules against recruiting inducements and claims the association is enforcing rules that unfairly restrict how athletes can commercially use their name, image, and likeness at a critical juncture in the recruiting calendar. So, do you need any more information on that or no?
Yeah, I'm like, so what?
Okay.
Uh,
Okay. Let me get you some more information here. These anti-competitive restrictions violate the Sherman Act, harm the states and the welfare of their athletes, and should be declared unlawful and enjoined. Tennessee AG Jonathan Scarametti and Virginia's Jason Myers, wow, that's never seen that name before, followed up by asking the court for a temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction by February 6th that would prohibit the NCAA from enforcing NIL recruiting rules while the lawsuit plays out. The NCAA clapped back with a statement that did not directly address the Tennessee investigation, but did defend enforcement of recruiting rules, which are made by member schools. This legal action would exacerbate what our members themselves have frequently described as a Wild West atmosphere, further tilting competitive imbalance among schools in neighboring states and diminishing protections for student athletes from potential exploitation. They also said the NCAA remains firmly committed to protecting and expanding student athletes' NIL rights and opportunities. However, our membership has steadfastly supported the prohibition on impermissible recruiting contacts, booster involvement in recruiting prospects, and the use of NIL offers as recruiting inducements. Need any more information on that?
NIL is a mess, and I was waiting for a lawsuit to be dropped eventually. Like, there's no
Where is the restraint?
like
all this time?
they are being used. It is being used to recruit players, even if it's not public, and it's being used as, hey, come play for our school, and you'll get a truck if you're on scholarship, or you'll get this or that, and it bugs me because if you're gonna do it, you gotta set more clear guidelines than what they did. So the NCAA was waiting for a lawsuit to happen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I thought for sure this would happen a lot earlier. Like when it first came out. But now it just kind of seems like they're making up shit as they go along. Because they're working their way around the rules now, And how dare
and they were working their way around the rules before NIL existed. Like,
well, yeah.
players were being paid to play ball for certain universities back in the day.
Just keep it hush hush,
Yeah, I'm okay with them making money to help them pay for school, but it shouldn't be more than what they need to go to school. Like, making more than some NFL rookies are is ridiculous. Like, there's got to be a cap.
Yeah, Julie, what do you think?
That seems sound.
That's it. That seems sound. That's what you think.
It seems problematic in general to be like bribing people into coming with certain things, but look, I don't really know. It seems like a generally problematic system, okay? So like I don't know
Okay.
what to say.
Julie's at a loss of words.
I literally
Yeah.
am. Like, okay,
So
good for the NCAA to try to do something.
the NCAA is already facing a lawsuit by a group of state attorneys, by the way. They're challenging the association's transfer rules. Plus, it is the defendant in antitrust suits targeting employment status for athletes and billions in television revenue that schools and conferences make up big-time college sports.
What?
Off of. Sorry, excuse me.
You mean to tell me that this is all about money again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Earlier this month, the NCAA approved a set of NIL regulations aimed at creating transparency in the market for athletes and protecting them from potential bad actors. So once again, here comes that safety talk again,
Yep.
but it's all about
It-
money.
Yep, it's no longer a game, it's a business. And it's hard to watch the NCAA go through this. I mean, as an NAIA athlete, we don't see this issue. We can be NIL if we can get NIL if we want to, but there are very strict guidelines and it states how much we can get, where we can get it from. And we have to report if like a coach used it to recruit us. And it's a great system here, and the NCAA needs to find a system that works for them that doesn't see 600 people enter the transfer portal on day one because they got a great offer to go somewhere else.
Mm.
Or coach told me I need to cut my hair, so I don't want to play here anymore. I'm transferring.
Or that. Yep.
Yeah, so this is a big clusterfuck per usual, the NCAA not being clear on their guidelines, not being clear on other things, a lot of gray areas. Now they're just trying to cover their steps. So once again, over money. Let's move on to beer 6 of our 6-pack.
All
Let's
right.
catch up. You guys probably don't care about this, but it's kind of big news.
We
The
care
PG.
about everything.
Okay. Okay. Your face doesn't say so.
I have arrested. I got in trouble when I was younger for having too many expressions. So I
Oh, yeah.
took them all away. Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay.
PGA Tour has secured $3 billion deal with Strategic Sports Group to infuse into a new for-profit entity called PGA Tour Enterprises. We talked about this a couple months ago. They were looking for the deal. Now they finally got the deal. A move made to combat new up-and-coming LIV Tour. It's pretty much what they're doing. So, yeah.
Money.
Yeah, more money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Talk a lot
More
about
money.
green today.
I know.
Wow. Yeah. Goodness gracious. The tour said in a news release that the deal with SSG allows for a co-investment from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, subject to all necessary regulatory approvals. Cool.
All right.
They said nearly 200 of its members would have access to a first of its kind program that would allow them to become equity holders in PGA Tour Enterprises, allowing them to not leave for LIV. More incentive to stay. So the members would collectively have access to more than $1.5 billion in equity grants, which will vest over time. The size of the grants will be determined by a tiered system based on career accomplishments, recent achievements, future participation, and services and PGA Tour membership status. Once again, more money. So good for the PGA.
There's like people out there who are like so rich that they don't even know all the directions to throw their money. So this might just be another one where they're like, "Oh, it's so cool." So like, yeah, get into the PGA or whatever.
Oh, it's so cool. Hey, if you don't leave, you can become a shareholder of our new company. You'll have access to $1.5 billion in grants.
Yay.
There's one thing we forgot to cover though in the NFL.
I was
beer.
about to remind you about that.
I forgot about that. So the Jaguars asked FanDuel to return stolen $20 million. A source says.
Woo.
Now this $20 million plus another million on DraftKings was lost by a thief of the company. Finance manager, mid-level finance manager, by the way. I believe his name's Amit Patel. He's pled guilty to stealing $22 million through a virtual credit card system the Jaguars use for expenses. Sources with knowledge of the case told ESPN that Patel lost about $20 million of the funds on daily fantasy and sports bets at FanDuel, which had assigned him a VP host. He lost about $1 million on DraftKings, sources said. According to this article, he transferred money directly from the team VCC, to FanDuel. The source familiar with the situation said discussions are ongoing among FanDuel, the Jaguars, and the NFL on what the source called a settlement. However, the source said the way they see it, we got this money fair and clear. It's not our problem that we have to forfeit it back to you. More money.
Mm-hmm.
It's a key theme today.
Yep.
Yeah, I swear to God, we're gonna have like money.
Like that.
Money.
It doesn't seem like these sports betting websites were preparing for their employees to be problematic, and who would even imagine this? And I made the joke earlier, if they had just given him one more chance, he would have made all the money back, because this guy clearly has a gambling addiction.
Oh, he had a tip. Definitely, he had a tip. He had one last bet, one last score.
One last.
He was gonna get it. Surefire, foolproof.
And he
Couldn't beat
needed
it.
the Jackson Jaguars wanted to do it.
Couldn't lose.
Like, how many other teams can they just like break into their credit card system? Like, what is happening out here?
Now he was a finance manager though for the team.
A mid-level one.
Exactly. So he had access to the card.
But like, is everybody gonna?
So he siphoned the funds over 3.5 years, according to federal court documents. In December, he pled guilty to fraud charges in federal court in Jacksonville. Sounding more and more like true crime here.
Okay.
He faces up to 30 years in prison and $500,000 fine when he is $500,000 fine. Yeah, he stole $22 million.
Well,
He doesn't get
The math doesn't add up.
He doesn't get sentenced until March 12th.
He does have to pay with like 30 years of his life, so
I suppose, but like Jacksonville Jaguars don't care about that. They just want money.
and yes.
Sources said FanDuel alerted the NFL to Patel's betting in January 2023 after he placed traditional sports bets in Tennessee. The amounts and types of wagers that triggered the investigation are unknown. Jags had no knowledge of the embezzlement scheme or Patel's extensive daily fantasy habit until they were notified by the NFL team and league sources said. It's not clear what recourse the Jaguars might have to recoup the losses. Under federal law, FanDuel has an obligation to make sure funds used for sports betting were legally obtained, but the regulations are murkier for daily fantasy. Really?
I bet they weren't anticipating this kind of thing.
So, because he used them on daily fantasy bets, they don't really care anymore because, well, it's our money now.
I'm sure that well, obviously nobody wants to pay anybody, but I'm sure the laws are like behind on these kind of issues. They always are behind on like new technology and everything. Like, I mean, it took forever for cyber stalking to be considered anything because all we had was the concept of like stalking in person. So I know this is different, but the point is that like the law's always behind on new tech. So I'm sure that they don't have like the proper protocols, and obviously neither side is gonna want to fork out the money. So
Yeah, of course. It's all coming down to money as usual. Here comes the money. Money talks.
yeah.
Yep.
Money. All right, that's.
I'm just imagining this guy doing this for like years, and he's like, "No, this is gonna work out, y'all. This is really, I promise, this is gonna work out." Like
He definitely has an accomplice, and he's going to him every day, like, "Hey, this bet cannot lose, man.
okay.
I just need like
Yep.
$1,000 more. I just need like $5,000.
23 million. So
I just need like $5,000. Just so that's all I need. Listen, Ridley's going to go off today. I'm telling you right now.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so bet responsibly, I do. For example, I am a avid sports bettor, and but I'm also not rich, so I don't put a lot of money into it. But don't bet money if you don't have it to spend. Okay, like
Precisely.
Yeah, and so do it responsibly like all the other adulting things that we do in life. Okay? So like but obviously 23 million is not that, but this guy's obviously not too smart for his own good in some ways and too dumb in others.
Yeah, that's right. I
yeah,
spent $30 for an entire season.
yeah. Yeah,
That's my entry fee for my pick pool.
yeah, exactly. Like just like be on your just be responsible. You can do a
Exactly.
lot with a small amount of money. So um you may not get big amounts back, but you're also maybe not able to put big amounts in. But if you're responsible with the money you do have, you may be able to put bigger bets in later. So like, think about it that way. But anyways, a little bit of common sense goes a long ways, but as we can see, there's a lack of that. And we will absolutely go more into the lack of common sense in true crime this week. So but before we do that, Tyla, make sure tell our fans where we can find you again.
Twitter, it's at Tyla Wright 4. Instagram is Tyla Ann Wright, and so as well as Facebook is Tyla Ann Wright. So
And you write for the Fourth Wall, and Defiant Takes, and you cover BYU.
I cover BYU for the forkball, and I do a little bit of Kansas City Chief coverage for Defiant Takes as well. So I've been doing a lot more BYU stuff lately than anything. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
Perfect. All right. Finish this out, Ryan. Finish this out.
It's just out. All right. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit all, ding, all that good stuff like Julie does.
Ding.
There you go. And share, tell your friends, and come back next week.
All right. We are out.
Oh, Lord.